Okay, this is gonna quickly be a video on explaining macros, UI settings, everything you need to know to make it all easy for you all. I'm gonna quickly go over the macros first and then move on to UI settings, like your life and everything else. So, to start with, we're gonna get to macros. Now, I'm gonna quickly showcase how the system works. I have DPS, healer, tank, profession, and mounts. This entire system here allows me to switch between classes. You can see without, well, by just using 3 bars. So quickly showcase this. This is how my layout works. I'm gonna quickly explain that as I go on. You want to have hotbar 1, 2, and 3 at the bottom. Generally, that's what you're gonna use for your abilities. Then you have 8, 9, and 10. These 3 are the main ones you're gonna be using for all of this. So to explain, hotbar 10 is where you can hide the menu and toggle these ones. These are all the shortcuts, and this one is where all, you know, if you want to be a tank, DPS, whatever. So to quickly, that was my Discord, by the way, not yours. To quickly showcase this, it will be applied on 8, your shortcuts are 9, and the menu toggle right there is 10. 4, 5, 6, and 7 is where you hide your menu stuff. So if you, one sec. Yeah. So if you want to edit something for future references, you can come back to this part. This right here is professions. If we go into my profession, ignore the Discord, that's me. Second, that's somebody I'm gonna have to VC after with this. If you want to edit any of this, generally we use these ones: 7, 6, 5, and 4. Whenever you add something, make sure it goes from highest to lowest for future references, and I'll go with that as well. So if you want to edit anything, like if I want to change these professions around, notice that when I'm dragging these, I go in here, it's not changing, and I'll go over that as well. To make this work, we'll go under my profession tab right here, and I'll explain it. It says hotbar copy Conjurer 7 current 8, hotbar display 8 on, wait 7 seconds, hotbar display 8 and 9 off. Now, to go over that, 8 and 9, these two. That means if a profession and the actual classes. Now, since it says right here, Conjurer, that means it copies the bar of Conjurer. Since Conjurer and White Mage merged, that's why it's here. Now, if I want to edit this, I remove my soul crystal. I open this menu up, go into my profession. Oh, sorry, not into this one. I go up here, I can drag it around. If I click on it again, boom. It's updated. Same, oh fuck. Same thing right here. Updated. If I try and get rid of these, it's not gonna do anything. Only when I edit these up. And then I can hide it. Now, since it's only on Conjurer that these ones are in this specific bar, which is bar 7. Let's switch to Fisher, for example. Here I have the mounts menu, but even without being a Fisher, if I want healer, I can access the mounts and I can write the mounts, because it just copies the bar of another class onto this one. So if I fill up all of these on one class, all I gotta do is switch to another. And now the bars, or if I Clarion, now the bar is empty. Then I get a whole new row of 4 new bars that I can customize. So you can essentially just mess this around. Now I'm gonna quickly go over the commands that I have to make these things happen, or micros, sorry. Firstly, we're gonna need this one. This one's the important one. That is hotbar display 9, and write it exactly as you see it right here. including these bars. Everything exactly is the same. By doing this, it will then display hotbar 9, sorry. And with the weight 7, meaning if you don't touch anything, it's gonna re-hide it for you. You can have that on and off. I prefer having it on in case I forget about it. This one right here, it's like this. Macrocon, hotbar, exactly the same thing, including these symbols. What this does is hides and show it. Now here's a little trick that I do. If we go into Hotmail, sorry, you'll notice it's on hotbar 10, the last slot. This is how I can hide and do it without clicking. We go into your key bindings, into your hotbar. You scroll down to hotbar 10. Since we know it's the last row, I have it bind to shift space. So when I press shift space, it shows the menu that I can then manually toggle. And then I can re-hide it. Now I'm going to quickly go through all my macros so you know how to do it. Here's the first one. This is to showcase this menu. That's my Discord again. This is for DPS. Now you'll notice that I don't have anything yet. That's just a placeholder, so I know which bar I placed it on. But again, Conjurer 4. Again, you can replace this with anything. To figure out what your name will be, you pull this one up. And bear with me here. You go in. I'm trying to remember here because I always forget this part. I think it's on the here. No, there's a specific place to check. I think it's on your key. You can see. I'm quite sure it's right here. I'm trying to. Yeah, there you go. On the bottom left, where you see level 8 on the item level, you see CUL. That is your short abbreviation of the class you are. So if I switch to healer, it's CNJ or WHM. Always use the base class to make your life easier. If you want to edit it, you just drag this one. You can, however, use your modding class of it if you want to do that as well. Only difference that it makes is that you can edit it while you're within that class. But otherwise, that's the macros. So let's quickly go through all. This is to showcase this bar. This is DPS. This is healer. Profession. The toggle. And my mouse. Now, you can copy this whenever you want. Whenever you want to add something new, I'm going to quickly showcase that. You're going to copy this of anything. It doesn't matter what you have. Let's say I want to have it on Culinary. The way I would do it is, I would go Culinarian. I'll go into my user macros. I would press... Make sure it's always on share when you do this. Otherwise, whenever you press these, it won't copy. You press on this one. You put this in. So since we want this to be Culinarian, we will go on C. Power War Weapon. Go CUL. Okay. Then we'll go up here. CUL. Capitalization does matter. I believe. And then we'd be like, okay, you could choose which hotbar do you want it to copy. And it'll always go in it. So you pick the class and the hotbar it copies. And everything goes into exactly where you want it to be. You can name it if you want to. What that essentially just does is, when you hover over it, it'll tell you. And then icon. Like right here, you can see I have not named my tank. So I go into my user macros. I go into one here. I type tanks. Boom. And when I go back, tanks. That's how you make the macros. And that's the macro system. Now, whenever you want to add something new, remember you can just go in here. You turn the hotbar on, save, go back out. Let's say I want to add this onto it. I drag it there. I'm not even sure what I'm adding on right now. So I want to. Oh, I haven't done that. Okay. So let me add it onto something existing, so it's easier to see. Like mounts, right? If I want to add something new, I go into the class where it is. If I'm unsure, use the macros, find the thing, mounts. Okay, this is Fisher bar 8 or 7, sorry. So it's hot layout, hotbar 7. Then I just drag whatever I want into that hotbar. Let's say I want this one here, which you'll notice now appears. And I go back into hot layout, here, hide it, and save. It's not there anymore, but it appears right here. Same thing if you want to remove things, turn it on, save, remove. Here we go. So that's how you make the macro. Again, control shift space or whatever you wanted to turn that on. Sometimes if you try and manually hide it like this, this will stay. This doesn't disappear unless you manually do it, really. But there are times where it can stay stuck if you do something like this and that. Since the menu, you bypass some stuff, this won't disappear. Just go open up and do like that. Now quickly going over some settings to make your life easier. Firstly, legacy movement, legacy type. Remember, disable camera pivot. What that does is if I have that on, you'll notice my camera rotates. We don't want that. Turn it on, it's stationary. The reason why you want legacy movement is because with standard, if you walk backwards, you're gonna do this. If you're doing a dungeon, you want to move backwards as fast as possible. That's not good. If you have this on, you can turn around and run while looking at the boss with no problem. Important. You have cutscene skipping. This, I would recommend turning all this off, on. All that does is prevent you from seeing a cutscene that you have already seen. So if you go to a dungeon, you don't always have to, press escape and skip the intro video. Going over target, I recommend going on cone instead of ignore depth. When you press tab to try and target somebody, normally it would just go, it could try and catch somebody in the background or whatever. With cone, it will try and target the person who's closest to you first. Makes your life easier. This thing here is also really nice. It limits ring movement. So if you have an AoE, I do not have one yet on this one, so bear with me. But if you have an AoE, whenever you try and aim it out, if it goes too far away, it'll tell you you're not close enough. This one does it, so if you move your mouse all the way to as further as you can, it will stop your AoE right at the edge of where you can cast it. So it will always be within distance of where you can cast it. Lovely. You can trigger this one as well if you want to press the ability twice to trigger it. I don't myself because I'm just used to otherwise. Amazing to use. Nothing in filters. We'll go over to character. Over here, I highly recommend turning on party and others show limited, which means that in combat, in dungeon and stuff, you don't have everybody's abilities flashing you. It will only show important abilities, such as limit breaks, AoE healing, something that you generally need to know. Quickly pull this back up. Very important to do. You can have it on all if you like the flashy stuff. It can sometimes hide the monster's abilities on the ground, and showing none, they might have popped down an AoE healing you don't even know it's there. So I recommend this. Mouse, I'm not gonna touch. Let's go to items. I recommend pressing this on open all and expand it. What this does is makes your inventory one giant box. On normal, it will look like this. You have to go through the tabs, and that's just annoying. Open all, one giant box. Much easier to organize. This does the same thing with your retainer. Now, quickly going to the next one. I'm just gonna go through this. Let's see here. UI settings. I don't believe there's anything here that I can think of. I'm just gonna quickly go through all this, double check. Party list there is though. So firstly, one thing I would do is this. Display status effect icon display maximum. What this does is whenever you cast an ability on yourself. So if I do, I'm trying to remember arrow, you'll notice I have an icon. On default, this is like, you can only see like 5. In dungeons, you generally want to know all the buffs you have on you. You can make it so it's 10. Much nicer. There's a display party list. I recommend having this on. It makes it so you appear over here. That allows you to see specific buffs. But the biggest part is overshield. Because overshield, you can't actually see how much your health is shielded and stuff like that, which will showcase here. Easier stuff. There is this one is on by default, by the way. This is the one you turn off to turn this on. Display remaining time of status effects. Very important. The countdown, so you can know like when it's about to run out. Amazing to know. Here you can modify the list of classes that's sorted in your list of parties and stuff like that. I don't mess with that myself. That's too much. Just, you know, display your alliance and stuff. Everything else is really just as it needs to be. There is one thing I feel like there should be here. I think that's probably further down. If not, I'll come back to it. Own, display names, display hotbars, others, no, general. Yeah, so this one here is display job icons. So what that does is, I don't know if I can find someone else. I'll just use myself an example. Right next to the name, it will showcase you what class they are, which is very nice to have, so you don't have to look at them. There's also this one, which display colors according to roles. Extremely nice to have in dungeons. What that means is, whenever you start a dungeon, tanks will then their name and their cone will turn into, you know, blue, and so on. You can modify these colors if you want to. I don't, because I like knowing where they are. I might change DPS a little bit so they don't blend in as well with the monsters, but otherwise it makes it much more visibly easier to see who to yeah, like who's where. Like right there you can see, I don't even have to look at what they are. I can see they're already an archer. Now to double verify, see here, archer, by just the icon alone, without having to see a weapon. Much nicer. In here, display recast times. So you see invalid target. Not recast, I'm sorry. Something. There is. Oh, is that not here? I think that's further down actually. Yeah, that is further down. Ignore that for now. Let's see. This is hotbar stuff, sharing. In here, this is also extremely important. For the macros to work, these ones need to be toggled exactly as it is. Essentially means that these other ones won't automatically get shared. That just makes your life 10 times easier. So it's just like this. Cross, not important, not that important either. In here, firstly we have enable profanity filters, so to saying curse words and stuff like that, you're able to see it. Display error message when actions fail. So the way this works, whenever you cast an ability that's on cooldown, I think I can do it right here. Can I cast while can we use while casting, I believe. So if we display error message when actions fail, see, doesn't tell me. I'm already aware that, you know, that I can't cast it yet, so it just removes that error message from your screen. And display recast time error messages, like just exactly like that if you want that to go on. And I think that is it on this part. I feel like I am forgetting something. What am I forgetting? I probably ain't, and I'm just overthinking it. But yeah, I think that is it. That's setting-wise. We can go into system configuration. I believe there might be a few things in here. I'm just gonna double check. Oh yeah, no. That is it. I'm gonna quickly say something else though. Yeah. Limit break. This is something a lot of people forget to bring down. It's on the general. If you ever want a limit break, it's right here. It's not. It doesn't enter your bar by manually. Drag it down, whatever. When you're in battle, up here, 3 bars will start to slowly build up. Now, the only people who are ever gonna use these, if you're doing a dungeon, as a DPS, you have free right to use that whenever. I will only use it on bosses though. If you're in a raid, generally you're only gonna leave that open for healers in worst case scenario, because with a 3-man stack, if a healer uses a limit break, he rests everybody. So it's only used for either the healers, or if you're almost killing him, a DPS can use it. If it's a regular dungeon, it doesn't matter, DPS has full rights. But that's really just it though. And yeah, if you have any questions, shoot me a message if you have me on Discord. That's pretty much it.